So today's back to school mini series Glitter Gossip is going to be about if your family has moved over the summer and you're going to start a brand new school year, or even if you haven't moved and you're staying in the same city but you're going into middle school or high school or even away to college, just my tips and advice on facing a whole new school and having to make all new friends and having to kind of rearrange your life and start from scratch. Because I actually did that a lot when I was little. My parents moved around a lot. So I lived in Georgia until 4th grade, so the first 10 years of my life. And then in 5th grade, we moved to New Orleans and I went to another school just for 5th grade. And then in 6th grade, we moved to Tennessee. So I definitely changed 3 states and 3 school districts in 3 years. And then I stayed there until I went off to college, but then I went off to college in another state. So I definitely know what it's like to just have to start all over again and make all new friends. And I thought that it would be kind of a good advice, glitter gossip, for today, because for those of you that are facing that, or even if you're just going into middle school, because the way my school system was is that there were lots and lots of elementary schools in Tennessee and then in the district, and then there were 2 middle schools. So when you went to middle school, it was all new faces and you met all these new kids that you never went to school with before. And then there was 1 high school. So when you went to high school again, it was all these people from the other middle school that you never knew, all were in your classes. So I mean, even if you're just going into a new school, regardless of whether you're having to make all new friends, it still is a little scary. And when I was really little, I was a really shy kid. I actually had a lot of social anxiety, and it wasn't towards people. I wasn't shy with friends. I made friends really easily. I had social anxiety about situations. So I was scared of my own shadow. I was afraid to walk to my classroom from the front door of the school every day because I was afraid I would get lost and end up on the moon. I had all these irrational fears of not being able to find my classroom, of getting lost on the way to the cafeteria, getting lost on the way anywhere. It was really weird. And then when I moved to New Orleans in 5th grade, something snapped and I became a different person. I was the most outgoing, not scared of anything, not shy about starting a new school. It was so weird. I don't know what happened during that move. It was my first move to a new place. And there wasn't anything bad about Georgia. I actually really miss it. I had some really great friends and I was so sad to move. I was really depressed when I moved. So I understand that too, the sadness of leaving all your friends and all that. But I don't know what it was that just I came out of my shell when we moved in 5th grade. So I guess my whole point of telling you that story is my first advice, which is if you're starting a new school, you can kind of see it as a fresh slate. So I'm not saying to go into your new school being a different person in the sense, don't be fake. Be yourself, be true to yourself. But if you've always been the super shy kid and you've always envied the really outgoing personalities, then be the really outgoing type. If you've always been scared to raise your hand in class because you always are afraid your answer is wrong, but then it's always right and you always kick yourself, be the kid to raise your hand. You can totally have a fresh slate with going to a new school. And I think that if you look at it as a positive experience instead of just being something really scary, no matter what age you are, I think that if you kind of look at it as a positive thing, you can make the most out of it and make it really amazing and just go in there and kick butt and make the best friends you've never even met yet. Another tip, that I always did was I always had a goal. Switched my camera around. Normally this is what's in behind the camera when I film because my bed is straight ahead. This is what I see from my bed, my little fireplace. Isn't it cute? Tip was that I got off subject with. So I actually every year had I would write out goals for that year, and I did this when I was little. I'm pretty sure I had one going into 5th grade. And I would write out my goals for the school year, and they were always things that I'm sure never 100% came true. It'd be get straight A's on every single assignment for the entire year, have a boyfriend for the entire school year. Yeah, when I was in really young. I remember the biggest crush I've ever had in my life was in 6th grade. Have sleepover parties 3 times a week for the entire year on school nights. No, that would never actually happen, but it kind of keeps you in line and in check for the year if you do write down goals. And it's so funny because none of my goals were ever sports centered because I was never into any sports, but my littlest sister, she's really into horseback riding, and so I feel her goals would be learn to jump over logs on my horse. Another piece of advice that sounds like common sense, but I feel like not everyone does it, is just to put yourself out there. Be the person to go up to the people you want to be friends with and introduce yourself and show them why they should be your friend. A good example of this is orientation for college. So during the summer before college, freshman year, we all had like an orientation weekend. There were like 18 of them throughout the summer, and you were just assigned to one, and you had to go up to college, and it was a way for you to make friends before school started and kind of get acclimated to the campus, because it was like a brand new place. And the way my school was is like, it was in the middle of nowhere in its own town. And so no one that went to school there, with the exception of maybe like professors' kids, like random little special occurrences, no one was local. Everyone was from far away. So no one knew each other going into it. So it was kind of nice because you knew you were on the same page as everyone else. But anyway, very beginning of orientation, we were all congregating in the student bookstore. We were all kind of standing by ourselves because no one knew each other yet. It was like the first 5 minutes of orientation. And there was this girl that was standing like 10 feet away from me, and she was standing by herself. And for some reason, I felt like I should go talk to her. Like I felt like I was meant to be her friend. And sure enough, we became fast best friends and ended up going to the housing office and requesting to live together, to be roommates, because it was like random roommates, and it was kind of scary. Like, who were you going to get assigned to? It actually was past the cutoff, and so the student housing center told us no. But I had been assigned to a single room, and there was a waiting list for single rooms, and I told them I was willing to give my single room up to some other kid that wanted it if they would put me in with Meredith. And so they did, because I think they wanted to please another kid too that wanted a single room, because I'm sure those parents were calling and harassing constantly, wanting their kids to have single rooms for some reason or another. I was just lucky to be assigned to one. But I'm so glad I didn't have a single room, because I ended up being best friends with Meredith. I'm still friends with her. We were friends all through college. And we were great roommates. Like, I loved living with her. It was better than random roommates, because some of the kids on my hall did not get along with her roommate, and it was really bad. But I definitely, if you're going off to college, which I guess it wouldn't count for this year because by this point you're already assigned to someone, but for people in the future, I would not request a single room. I did it, but then I would have really regretted it if it had ended up being that way, because having a roommate is like having a built-in best friend and a built-in family in college, and you definitely, I would think, would want that. Anyway, so I guess I feel like I'm just rambling. I don't know. I've been talking for like 20 minutes about stories. This is kind of like a throughout the years video too, like Blair does, kind of, because I'm telling so many stories. But yeah, I just think that you kind of need to make an effort to be the person, because she probably wouldn't have come up to me. Actually, I'm positive she wouldn't have come up to me, and we wouldn't have been friends. And my school was big enough that it might have been that we never ran into each other again, and we ended up being in different sororities, so we might not have ever had the same social circle if that hadn't happened in that bookstore at that very moment, and if we hadn't been assigned to the same orientation group and all that stuff. And now she's like a friend for life. So make an effort. Go up to the people you want to be friends with and be friends with them. Yeah. Oh, another tip that I have, this is like a practice what you preach thing, because I actually did this when I was younger to meet friends. Another thing is, if you're starting at a new school and you're worried about making friends, even if you don't make friends in classes, you can make friends in extracurriculars. So I would definitely sign up for something after school, whether it be a sport or band or chorus. In middle school, I was in chorus, and I was in chorus in 5th grade too. And in middle school, so when we moved to Tennessee, the first day of school, I knew no one. I went into this school knowing no one. And we had this little homeroom period. It was weird. It was only 11 minutes long. It was a really random little meeting place, because middle school is the first year where I ever had different classes with different kids for each subject, because in elementary school you just have one teacher for everything for all day long, and so that was kind of new to me too, but you get used to it really quickly if you've never done that before. But homeroom, first day of school, ended up meeting this girl named Teddy, who I became best friends with. She was my best Tennessee friend. in middle school, and we are still friends to this day. She is one of she's one of the people that I have kept in touch with the most, and she doesn't live in Tennessee any longer either, but both of our parents still do. So every time we're both back in town, like over Christmas, I did a blog post over Christmas about making peppermint bark, and I was making it with her. So we hang out still a lot, and I actually talked to her on the phone like yesterday, so we're still really close. And she was my random, I went up to her in 6th grade in homeroom, and we became really fast friends. And the story I had about how I had like my biggest crush in 6th grade, it was when I was best friends with Teddy, and we would talk about him every day for like ever. Anyway, yeah, Teddy's gonna watch this and know exactly what I'm talking about because she watches my videos, which is really cute and supportive of her. But yeah, what was my point of that? What was I saying? Homeroom, make friends. Oh, because Teddy and I were in chorus together too, and like we were in this like extra chorus group that was like for like the really serious chorus students that would meet 30 minutes before school every morning, like super early, like 7 a.m. And we would get all the solos, me and her, for all the concerts. And I remember in 8th grade there were only 2 solos for girls, and it was me and her, and we were so excited, and we would like practice together, and it was really fun. Anyway, shout out to Teddy if you're watching this. I loved chorus. I love singing, and in 8th grade I got the most outstanding chorus award, and I was so excited. But my camera's running out of batteries. It says I have 2 minutes left, so I should probably wrap this up. I guess my advice is be outgoing, look at it as a fresh start, don't be too nervous, don't do anything like don't like try to be like another person. Like be true to yourself, make sure that you don't like change your personality just because you want like a certain group to like you. Just be yourself, make friends. My hair's been crazy today. I have lots of other videos in this mini series I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do like an organizational video on like how to like take notes and organize your life school-wise, studiousness-wise, and I'm going to do another video on sorority rush because I know that that's like everyone's asking me about that, and that will be a really fun video. What is with my hair? That'll be a fun video because I was obsessed with my sorority, and it was like the best part of college, and I wouldn't have traded it for the world, and I can't wait to do a whole video on it. I'm surprised I haven't yet, but it works for this mini series. And yeah, comments below, and I will see you guys later. I love you guys. Bye.